I made a virtual tour of my mountain bike ride commute through the wild things and along the highway and through Salida, Colorado, and out to Poncha. If you would like to come along, can't sleep, miss your old hometown, come along. I brought you. So for my old hometown chums or people curious about Salida, Chaffey County, Poncha Springs, people who can't sleep, people who just would love a virtual tour, that's what I've been doing off and on. I love storytelling and I love our area and I loved growing up here. So I'm just sharing it out and it's fun and I'm learning all kinds of things about video and editing. It'll always be perfectly imperfect, but it's such a fun challenge. Also getting out and getting fresh air and sunshine and as many endorphins as possible. So might break this up into a couple of parts so it's not too long. But if you are interested, come along. And I love history too. And we've been able to learn a lot of history about this area in a history club that we're a part of. So if you like these, let me know. If you want a certain area shown or shared, let me know. I'll see what I can do. And we'll go from there. Let me know. Oh, also, I mostly have virtual friends these days. I was thinking if you've ever read or watched the Anne Shirley stories, Anne of Green Gables, she's super opinionated. So she has a virtual friend, a window friend. So I have virtual friends. So let me know if you're coming along, what you think, and let's go. So here's my stats for the day. I really like to keep track in my Map My Ride app. It's not set up right for my bike that I have now as far as wheel size and what kind of bike it is. So those stats as far as calories aren't exactly correct. But here we go. It's a beautiful, beautiful April morning. And I'm being brave because I got a call from our neighbor the other night, and she said that 3 big mountain lions just headed up our driveway. So if I understand correctly, they are out during the night feeding and hunting and roaming, etc. So hopefully they're all gone to sleep for the day. This is our county road that I have driven hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. My father found a piece of property and built a house up in this valley when I was 13. And I am now 60 or 61 or something like that. So I was showing you the turkeys there. And I had my sunglasses on, so I didn't realize that I had not zoomed in or focused on them. And I realized that I did that several places in this ride. So from now on, even though I have my sunglasses and the glare of them and the phone, I will know better. And I will touch the screen and zoom in better while I show you some of the wild things that live in this gorgeous valley that I have been blessed to live in for decades and decades and decades. So there are mountain lions, bobcats, lynx, and they have wandered through our driveway in broad daylight many times. We've seen moose a couple times. There are lots of elk, deer, and those turkeys, little critters, wonderful birds. I have turned down the sound on the video so you didn't have to hear so much wind and so much of the bike noise. But isn't it absolutely gorgeous and glorious? And things are just starting to green up. All of those scrub oak will leaf out. They tend to be the last. And as they leaf out, bud out, they knock off last year's dried up leaves. So we have junipers, pinyons, cedar, choke cherry bushes. You'll see the willows further down along the creek as we get there. But it's a beautiful, beautiful little valley, and we absolutely adore it. We've been through many things in this valley, including wildfire. And that will be another story that I would like to tell because of some heroes. I do have a lot of stories I'd like to tell about our beautiful valley. So right up here over this rise is where I did meet a bear 2 springs ago. And I was kind of worried because I was seeing scat on the road. Just giving you a little glimpse of the valley. But I was worried because I was seeing scat on the road. And sure enough, I came up over this little hill, and there was a big, fat, probably yearling brown bear, black, brown, sitting in the middle of the road. Just sitting there with his back to me. And so I skidded my tires a little bit and rang my bike bell, and it jumped and ran up the hill and sat down and watched me ride by. So, I do not love the thought of running into the wild things. I do carry a bear spray gel now. The other thing I do not like running into or coming up on is people with dogs that are not restrained or behaved. I've been jumped and bitten many times. So I have my bear gel spray right on the front of my bike, ready to go. But it's a beautiful, just wonderful spring morning. Pretty chilly, but I had some wool on because there is the factor of when you're moving faster, the wind chill. So the air smells divine. As I moved through the ride, I noticed the fragrance of so many different things. The pine, sometimes wood smoke. And I wanted to stop again. There is a pretty big herd of cow elk through the trees over there, and I'll try to show you a couple times. They are hanging around a lot, and they have been for years. The 3 bulls are missing. I do not know why 3 bulls would have left a herd of cows, but they were there and now they're not there. One of the very first times I saw an elk in this valley, on this road, was when I was about 16, and I was driving home late one night from my job as a waitress in my little 63 Rambler, and an elk about right here jumped across the road from the hillside to jump into this beautiful meadow. There they go. They're all worried about me riding my bike by. Sometimes when I go by, they don't care at all. I don't know if they're getting more skittish because they're all getting ready to calve or what, but they sure do. Seems like they mostly hang out together. Sometimes they're all spread out. So about right here, as I was saying, was when an elk, the first elk I ever saw up close and personal, jumped in front of me in the dead of dark night, right in front of my little 63 Rambler. It scared me to death, and it seemed like it was huge compared to my little tiny car. But now we see the elk a lot, way more than we used to. Actually, we see a lot of wildlife, way more than we did when I grew up in this valley. And now we have a wonderful house across the road from where my dad built a home for us. And I apologize that I did not tap the screen and show the elk over there. They headed up into the hills. Maybe they'll go up and sleep for the day and come back out later in the afternoon to graze and enjoy the meadows, which is when they're usually out. But it is so pretty. I love the sound of the birds, the creek. I didn't see anyone the whole way along the road, which is about 2.5 miles for this part of the ride. And I will break this virtual tour up into parts so that it doesn't get too long. Soon I realized that I should have turned the camera widescreen. So I will do that. And here's another favorite view up the valley. And then I'm traveling down through the narrower part of our little valley. It's a little canyon, actually, with pretty steep sides. And we have definitely run into wild things down in this area, too. And it's a lot colder because it's down toward the creek and the river, which is exactly across the highway from the bottom of this county road. We have not had enough moisture. Things are way too dry. And we are familiar with wildfire and being evacuated for 6 weeks. So we're hoping for another big spring storm or 2 or 3, which can absolutely happen. Years ago, on May 5th, I believe it was May 5th, we got 5 feet of snow. Probably more than that because it was warm and melting as it came. We actually sat on our front step the day after the storm when the sun came out, and we could hear it percolating into the ground, and we could watch it sink. But we definitely need more moisture. It's very dry. So I'm always being pretty nervous, looking around, watching the hills. So it's a good thing I don't have a GoPro or anything on my helmet. I just have my phone on my handlebar. And I love that these phone cameras have a stabilizing effect. Otherwise, this would be really bumpy. But I'm always watching for wild things up the hills from me. Because there have been, definitely, wild things in the past. I also worry about things jumping out of the bushes, even something small, and causing me to wreck. So I'll show you later on I looked both ways many times, and I crossed the highway, and here we go. And wow, my shadow is huge. Woohoo! Goodness. So this is my least favorite part, the side of the highway. And it's why I got a little rear view mirror that goes on my helmet. Have you watched the movie Cars, the kids movie? Rear view mirrors. So I don't have very far along the side of the highway, but it's kind of scary. There has been road construction recently, which made a really nice, much wider paved edge, so that's nice. But I can see what's coming behind me. Big trucks are loud and scary, and I know that bad things could happen. So I stay as far over as I can, and most people are really, really kind and kind of move away if there's room. But there's plenty of room along this edge. And there are our glorious mountains on this edge of our valley. So let me know in the comments, are you from Chaffey County or Fremont County? Is this a blast from the past? Or are you curious about the area? A lot of people have moved in, and as I move through parts of this virtual tour, I will be showing and talking about a lot of new construction in this area. So my family moved here in 1969. I am a Colorado native, but we moved. Here I am, flipping the camera from from portrait to landscape. So now I will pause this and crop and flip the picture. Hold on. So here we are in widescreen, which is what I should have started in the first place, but I didn't. But my storytelling and cinematography and virtual tours will always be perfectly imperfect. Just normal every day. So they're painting the highway, and I looked behind me and no one was coming. I'm a pretty fraidy cat type of adventurer. I know that really bad things can happen. I do joke around about safety third and have a sticker on a funny other helmet, but I'm pretty careful. I'll show you later in the ride where I see someone without a helmet and about something that happened last summer. So this is the last little bit of my highway ride. I get to turn off onto a county road. We call it the river road because it runs right, there's the river, runs along the river. And I will start to show you, if you haven't been in the area lately or are curious about it, lots and lots of construction happening. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. I have opinions, which I guess I'm allowed to since I've been here since '69. I have very, very strong love and nostalgia for this wonderful little town of Salida, Colorado, and the surrounding areas. So we call this the River Road. And so if you are from here, have been from here, grew up here and moved away, I am taking you through Salida now. So we're not in the city limits yet. But this county road brings us along the river and then up into town in a few minutes. So I am on a mountain e-bike, and those are controversial around town. I love it because I can do a 23-mile commute a lot more comfortably than I otherwise would have, or may possibly not even be able to do. I had a different e-bike, kind of a towny cruiser, that was way heavier and had zero suspension. Ouch. So now I have this e-bike that I adore, and it has so much suspension that sometimes I'm worried I have flats. I love it. So I'm just trying to show you from each side of the road because my bike is on my right side handlebar. I'm doing a little loop-de-loo here to show you some of the construction, and you can always pause the video or slow it way down. If you slow it way down, I will sound very drunk. If you want to speed things up, you can. Speed up the video speed there, but I will sound like a crazed mouse. So passing by friends' homes and riding through certain areas and town, and then beyond town, lots of homes of grade school and high school chums that have moved away. This is a new trail through some new construction along what is called Little River. So I just thought I'd ride through here to show all of this new construction. There are so many new homes, townhomes, apartment complexes. Some of them look really nice, but so many of them just look like boxes. So just cruising along. So there's controversy around here about people riding e-bikes, people calling them motorized and not wanting them even on these walking trails. Mine isn't like a motorcycle or anything. It doesn't go anywhere unless I pedal, and I try to use the least amount of assist possible so that I get the most workout. But I would not be able to make this commute without my assist. I love it. So, are you lost? Do you know where we are? You'll see in a minute if you have kind of lost directions. But this is all new just in the past few years. Had a little obstacle course right there that I wasn't expecting, but I did not biff it. So just a little spin here showing the road was closed there. Couldn't have gone through that area anyway, but showing this whole new subdivision. And I love this area. This used to just be a field just a few years ago. We got to learn a whole lot of history about this little area right here. So I will share that in the near future if anyone would like to hear about it. And it's neat because they've named some of these streets and roads appropriately for the history of the area. So I'm just doing some little loops through this new subdivision, several subdivisions, to show what it looks like now. All the new construction. There used to be absolutely nothing here but a field and a trailer park on the left that a lot of childhood chums lived in. This is the southeast entrance of Salida. These are all new streets. Over here, ahead is the most amazing little farm house, an orchard, and it's one of the last things standing right there. So neat. This is a street that was there, but most of what was there is gone now, and it's all new. And the buildings are packed in, the new things are packed in and go up multiple stories. So again, as I finish this, I will decide where I want to break it up into parts, 1, 2, 3, maybe parts, and post them on my YouTube channel that way. So there's a bunch of new construction there on the left, and that would be right at Highway 50 and Oak or 291. So this is a bunch of new construction for the school. The public schools. This is Oak and 291, and I'm going to show you the brand new fire station. I've been told it's the biggest one in Colorado at this time. And it is very nice looking. But it was massively expensive. But I'm not saying a thing about it because I've lived through wildfires and being evacuated for a long time. And I adore firefighters. They are heroes. So these are all new sidewalks. That is an all new bike path, which I should probably get onto. Here I'm pausing to get out of the way of a bunch of traffic. It is early morning, between about 8 and 9, and everyone's heading off to work, I guess. Lots and lots of traffic for what this used to be. So that pointy hill in front is our local landmark with a big S on it. Some people call it S Mountain, some people call it Tenderfoot. People argue about it on local Facebook pages. It's a spiral drive. It's also called that. You used to be able to drive all the way to the top, but you can only drive part of the way up now, and then either bike or walk the rest. But it's pretty fun. You can get up there and see the whole valley. When I was growing up, right a few blocks from here, it was kind of no man's land. The river, it was not nice. It was all overgrown. It was dirty and dangerous. And only once a year during first FIBARC, which is first in boating on the Arkansas, the yearly wild water kayaking festival and Salida's biggest weekend of the year, that's when that whole area would be swarming with activity, but otherwise it was dangerous, and we would get in trouble if we would go down there and even go up S Mountain or Tenderfoot or Spiral Drive. Now I'm riding behind what was the old hospital. There's a bunch of new apartments, townhomes, VRBOs. Here's the old hospital, old railroad hospital, which is now the city county building. And the river is right behind it. And there's a river walk. And the beautiful big old Victorian that I grew up in from about 4 years old to 13 years old is just 2 blocks away. Right over to the right was a helicopter pad, and hardly ever, but sometimes a helicopter would fly in to take someone away, and that was a huge deal, and everyone would run over and watch. This is Sackett Street. So I wanted to show a bunch of the new construction along there. Right ahead on the right is the Scout Hut. And it's been all refurbished, remodeled, really nice. Riverside Park on the right. Hope I'm saying directions correctly. It's a beautiful park with big trees. This is where everything happens at FIBARC in June, usually Father's Day weekend. So here's our downtown and our very, very cool old buildings. There's the Vic on the left, a landmark that had been closed and is reopened and really nice. Here's a path right down through the middle of Riverside Park, straight to the river. So I'll show you a little bit of that. A lot has changed, happened, been made amazing. There's our bandstand for music in the park. Really wonderful walkways. Here's one thing that I really, really don't like is when people do not control their dogs. I guess I didn't get it on video. So I wanted to stop and show you the wave, Scout Wave. It's all the rage during warm river water. Lots and lots of people are there all the time surfing the Scout Wave. When that happens, I will show you more of that. So I've circled the park back to Sackett. I'm going to show you a little bit more of downtown. So this all kind of used to be the wrong side of town, but now it's where it's happening. Passing a brewery on the right. There's a surf shop. There's the old fire station. And again, our really cool, wonderful old buildings. Waiting for traffic. Coming to Main Street, or F Street. And I crossed over and I'm heading up F Street, which is blocked off to vehicle traffic. There's construction, but they also block off a couple of blocks, make it all pedestrian for the summer, which is also a huge controversy because parking is a problem in the first place. And when they block off a couple of blocks, then it's even more of a problem. So I'm trying to avoid the construction, and I love alleys. So I'm heading a couple blocks back because I want to show this big, beautiful, old Victorian home that my parents came to town in 1969 with a bunch of little girls, and I'm sure it was really scary. They bought a house and my dad started his own business. He bought this house coming up for $19,000. Can you believe that? And I think it recently sold for nearly $1 million. And it's really sad because right now I think there might be a little bit of remodeling going on, but I'll show you in a minute. But I think this is the first time ever that the yard has been dead and the trees might be dying. No one is living in it, and it's really, really sad, and I want to fix it so bad. And I'm going to do a whole story about this house. Our family has a short history of this house. Right now it looks abandoned and it's just heartbreaking, and I don't know who owns it. It's none of my business, but the yard has never been dead, and it looks horrible. And it looks like possibly because everything is drying out, that the foundation and things are cracking and shifting. So I'm going to, this is my old stomping grounds, me and my sisters. If this neighborhood could talk, it would not be good. And I'm going to do a story about this house. I have, ever since we left it, it was magic growing up in. It's absolutely gorgeous inside. It's almost completely original. I was able to go in recently, but a lot of bad happened in this house and in this neighborhood. So I'm surprised that I still adore it, and I'm so nostalgic about that house in this neighborhood. I should probably hate it, but I don't. I love it. Love it, love it. So I will be revisiting all of this. Back through our little downtown. And if you grew up here, you're probably recognizing all the landmarks and all the places. I'm going to ride up Main Street, F Street, for those who grew up here, miss it, so that you can see what it looks like now, in case you haven't been able to come through lately. It is crazy expensive here as far as real estate and living expenses. Our Carnegie Library is over there on the left. This is Alpine Park. It's beautiful. It's pretty dry right now, but it is a beautiful park surrounded by old, beautiful homes, Victorians and cottages. And from here, I will head up F Street. I'm doing a little loop. There was no traffic. It was all good, safe. Just doing a little loop so that you can get a 360 and then up F Street. So anyone who's from here should love this, because all there was to do, not all there was, but we cruised F Street, didn't we? Feel free to leave your memories, your thoughts, your whatever you would like in the comments. Let me know what else you would like to see. Everything looks so different in this kind of screen, but we can see where all different school chums lived. All the people we've known through our life, a lot of them are gone. So many memories. A lot of houses have been really remodeled, and in some places you can see that really tall ones have been crammed in between. Packed in. So let me know if you would like the reverse of this virtual tour. For one thing, my phone is on the right side of my handlebar. So the other way, you would see a better view of the other side. But lots and lots and lots of change. And some of it's really difficult, but there's a lot to love. It is a beautiful, magical valley. I'm going to do a little loop-de-loo up here because I want to show you a new distillery right up here at the top of F Street. It used to be the J.C. Penney's and a lot of different things. But it's a really nice new distillery, and there's a Thai food truck as well. All right, I'm going to do a little zig and a zag and then ride up Highway 50 for you for a little bit to see what that's like now. But it just feels so good to be finally spring. It was a long winter in a lot of ways. And now I think every season changes my favorite, but wow, I love spring. It's the perfect air. Here's another brewery. This used to be Oxford Market back in the day. And they also have a really good brews, great food truck. There's definitely plenty of places to party. So coming up on our hot springs pool, and I'm going to take a little detour down the side because we have new-ish tennis and pickleball courts. And a really nice park. There is a new skateboarding park. And we kind of joke that that's where a lot of adult men hang out, but it's not really a joke. So across the front of the pool, which is very nice. Wow, did I ever spend a lot of time there as a kid. Sometimes nearly every summer day. And there were times when there was no roof on it, on the hot springs pool. We had a family pass and we girls walked, like 14 or 15 blocks up to, maybe more, to the pool and hung out for hours and hours and hours. And they used to, I think every half hour, blow a whistle and yell, break period, everyone out. And everyone had to get out and sit on the edge of the pool at least, or whatever. I think it was 5 minutes. And then when there was no roof on it for a while, because it's gone through many iterations of pool, city owned. If there's any lightning at all, we just all had to get out and be done until that was over. This is Holman Avenue, named after a local family. Not a great spot to ride, but there's no bike path on this side yet. And coming up by the soccer fields, community garden, or whatever it's called, we'll see, and dog park. It's really cute and funny because I'm gonna circle through the parking lot, but there was a whole bunch of dogs so excited to go play together. It's really cute. And over on the left, another big, huge subdivision. Some people jokingly call it the Stepford Wives subdivision. Or at least did at first. Okay, now a little detour into the parking lot for the gardens, the soccer fields, and the dog park. And then right after the dog park, I'll show you, is part of the trail system that goes through town and way out. Let's see, that would be west. It's the old railroad grade, and it's a wonderful trail for walking and biking, and for people to yell at you if you're on an e-bike. Isn't that cool? A great use of the old railroad track. And it goes clear down into town, straight to the river, and then out the other direction. And I don't know if they'll continue it sometime. They talked about it, so we'll see. But there's our gorgeous valley view from that point, that vantage point. Riding right past here, you could really smell those willows, and it's kind of swampy land, so it just smelled really springy and wet and fresh. Some manure, because there's cows in those pastures. That's another thing that I love about this area, is there are still a lot of ranchers. Ranches, cattle, llamas, things like that. Salt of the earth people. And a lot of them are many, many generations still with the same ranches. So here's the intersection at what we call the Mesa. And I'm just going to go down this way a little bit because this is all new. Poncha Boulevard. All new road construction and bike path and sidewalks and landscape. It's really nice. So this is the Mesa, and it's an area of town that's elevated up a hill from downtown, and it's very nice. A lot of really beautiful homes. And I will be showing you, I'll turn around here in a minute and continue west toward my destination, which is in Poncha Springs, 5 more miles. But I will show you a whole bunch of the new construction on the way. Do you know where we are? Are you following? Brand new path, brand new landscaping. This is right beside the golf course to the right. Look at that beautiful sky. And very soon things will be much, much greener, and hopefully some snow and or rain so that it lasts and doesn't dry out right away. In our banana belt, as it's called. Amazing climate, really. In that vehicle is someone who is a local fixture from a lot of years past. Okay. So this is County Road 120 with a trail all the way to Poncha Springs, 5 miles. And so lots of people use it. Runners, walkers, bikers, a lot of dogs. It's really nice. But one of the things that I'm really careful about, and I'll show you in a minute, is there are a lot of deer and things like that that can jump out of the bushes or just out from under these trees. And last summer, I was riding back and forth a lot, sometimes just from my studio where I'm heading in Poncha to town to sit by the river and read or sketch or listen to a podcast and ride back. And I was getting to where it was hot and I didn't want to wear my helmet because I thought, I'll just go slow, it'll be fine. And up over the little hill here, one day I was riding to town midday without my helmet, always being aware that things could jump out. And there's one of my besties' houses from back in the day on the right. Well, anyway, right up here over this little rise, and it goes downhill. And across the road here, there's a bunch of bushes which are by a pond, which I think deer often go to for a drink. I was coming from the other direction, and all of a sudden, in this little dip, a bunch of people were stopped and kneeling by a person on the ground. And I stopped. It had just happened, and people were there really fast. Right here on the left, where you see that little bunch of dark bushes, and right there in the shadow. And it turned out to be someone I knew, and I would see that person riding a lot. And this time, and she wasn't wearing a helmet, and a deer, she was over there on that side of the road, and a deer jumped out, and they ended up in a big horrible tangle, she and her bike and the deer. And she was on the ground. She was not in good shape. People had stopped. They were kneeling down. Help came really fast, but I walked over to see if I could help, and it turned out to be someone I knew. And also, the person next to me ended up being a classmate from back in the day. Anyway, this person is okay, but wear your helmet and be careful riding by bushes, ditches, ponds, trees, because the deer are crazy and they're dumb. So it was bad, and but that person is okay. And I knew better. Our oldest twin son passed away 2 years ago on Valentine's Day after surviving about 18 months of horror after a mountain biking accident. It was a very dangerous ride, and he was wearing his helmet, but it was devastatingly horrible, and he ended up paralyzed. And so please don't do dangerous rides, and please wear your helmet, and also wear the great neck braces that are available now, please. So I'm careful and watching all the time by bushes like these. And yes, I'm a fraidy cat. I'm not very adventurous. And I really have to push myself to be adventurous. Really horrible things can and do happen. I do some mountain bike trails. I don't do anything risky or dangerous. I just love biking. I love being able to make this commute. It's a lot of different kinds of riding. Our county road, dirt road, which is pretty rough, and trails and streets and highway, all in one commute. I pass a person somewhere along this trail, and she's not wearing a helmet, and I highly recommend it. So passing along subdivisions, and it's a pretty quick ride out to Poncha Springs, straight ahead there, and I'm going to take a little side trip to show you a bunch of more new construction right at Poncha Springs ahead. I believe this was, no, I don't think this was railroad grade. That would be down below in the lower area, which I do hope they extend out to Poncha and beyond. And to the right is where another school chum lived back in the day. And there's a toilet sitting by the road. Yep, it's been there for a long time. So right to my left, our left, down the hill is Highway 50 that runs, it's a straight shot from Salida to Poncha Springs. It's the crossroads of the Rockies. And if you look at a map of Colorado, it's the crossroads. And if you even look at a map of the United States, it's a crossroads. It's where many or several main highways intersect. And the Continental Divide and Monarch Ski Area, further up, further in, Poncha Pass. And a lot of history. I think it's the very first homestead in the area, in the valley, the Hutchinson Homestead. And it's been preserved and it's being maintained, and it's kind of a living museum. And there is a lot of history there. In fact, you can find that history on PBS. There's a program, Hutchinson Homestead, where one of the very first families ever built in this valley, and the families still maintain those ranches, ranching cattle, etc. And the family at that time entertained Chief Ouray and his wife Chapita in that homestead house. And so some of those peaks ahead have those names. So getting closer to Poncha Springs and the fairgrounds, and on Highway 50 below, just to the left, is tons of new construction, new subdivisions, lots and lots of box-looking, very modern townhomes, apartment buildings. Which we won't see in this video, but I will be showing you a bunch to the right up ahead after the fairgrounds. So hopefully this is a walk down memory lane for a lot of people. I ring my little bell to let people know I'm coming around, but when they're wearing a headset, I guess I don't worry too much if I sneak up on them. And possibly if someone just can't sleep, or someone just wants a virtual bike ride or tour through Colorado, here's a little bit. So I believe the Chaffey County Fair is in July. There's all kinds of stuff going on at the fairgrounds then, and throughout the rest of the year it's used for a lot of things. And there's Elevation Brewery. It's pretty popular. We've been in other parts of the country and seen Elevation beer for sale. And then industrial areas and more county buildings, ambulance. And this all used to be kind of no man's land, just industrial, and on the way to the ski area, a ski shop. But now there's a winery. There are new restaurants. There's a lot of old buildings, but one is known as the Jackson Hotel, which really has a lot of fun history. It's privately owned right now, but it's pretty neat and has a lot of really cool history to it. A lot of very famous people have stayed there in the past. So this is a little jaunt north to show you a ton of new construction. And a lot of land ready for more. And to the right, a school chum's construction business, crane. So this is called Poncha Meadows, where there used to be nothing but a couple of ranches. And this is growing really, really fast. These things are going up so fast. So to the right there, the new construction so far is 3 or 4 blocks deep. There are a lot of Amish builders in this area, and they seem to be able to throw stuff up really fast, which they're known for, right? So several blocks of this, and I am almost to my destination, and I'm going to take a little detour around it so that you can see what's new in Poncha Springs. That literally just used to be a crossroads, a few small neighborhoods, mostly ranches, on the way up Monarch or Poncha Pass. And I'm almost there. Isn't the sky beautiful? And thankfully there is snow on the mountains, and we had some fresh snow recently, and they were pretty well covered, but it's already melting fast. So the trail that comes from Salida, this is kind of where it ends. I'm getting on right here. So this is the trail right at the crossroads, right beside 285, where it will run into Highway 50. And to my left is a brand new whole shopping center, huge Western and archery and gun shop, and an amazing steakhouse and a coffee shop and another kind of gym. And so I'm circling. I have just made a big circle around my destination. So in front of me will be County Road 120 and Vino Salida, the wine tasting place that's beautiful inside, and they have really neat small snacks like charcuterie with local cheese and meats and stuff like that. And then this is my turnoff, Halley's Avenue. And there's a lot of new construction along here. And that next building is the Colorado Trail headquarters. No, the next one, there. Sorry, everything looks different in the video. And then the new construction that is nearest and dearest and I think beautiful and closest to my heart is right here. And I have deep family ties to this as developers. And my studio where I come every day to learn and grow and take art courses and keep on keeping on is right here. I made it. Thank you for coming along. Let me know what else you'd like to see.